Feel the hype! Today's Pokemon Presents gave us a ton of information. I hope you're all ready, everyone, because it's mat time! Welcome back to the Generation Millennium, everyone. I'm your host, Jeffrey Madness, and this is the 4th episode for the Pokemon Podcast. And as I said, the Pokemon Presents dropped this morning at 6 a.m., and surprisingly enough, I was actually awake for that, because I actually set an alarm. But don't tell anyone about that. But like I said, a lot of information dropped. Like first off, Pokemon Unite, which for the past couple weeks has been going nuts on Nintendo Switch. I personally haven't played it because it's way too real action time, and I just can't play it as well with my visual impairments. But I'm still enjoying to watch people playing the game, and it's been announced that the mobile version will be coming out on September 2nd of this year. And with that, a bunch of other updates and Pokemon will be will be brought into the game. So for those of you who play Unites, you can look forward to that. Pokemon Cafe Mix, well, apparently is getting a revamp and name change to Cafe Remix. That update will be coming this fall of 2021, so anyone who's still playing that particular spin-off game can look forward to that. Pokemon Master EX is also getting updates with the form of Dynamaxing in order to celebrate its 2-year anniversary. So anyone who still plays that spin-off game as well can look forward to those updates. And finally, Pokemon Go is currently in its 5th anniversary since 2016. And coming in just 2 days from now, actually on August 20th, a bunch of Generation 8 Galar Pokemon, including legendaries like Zacian and Zamazenta, will be coming to the 5-star max raid. Not max raid, just to the raid battles in Pokemon Go, along with a bunch of other Galar Pokemon such as Wooloo or Skwovet, apparently because of a mythical Pokemon from Gen 6. In the Pokemon Presents, they try to make it as vague as possible or mysterious, but I think we all know it's Hoopa. But then finally, we come to the real information that we are all looking forward to. Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl was next on the Pokemon Presents list, and we got shown quite a bit. Unfortunately, some information that I was looking forward to the most was not exactly addressed, such as the National Pokédex or if the Platinum Dex was confirmed. But from the information we got, I think we can say that some Pokemon that were not present in the original Diamond and Pearl, at least in the original Diamond and Pearl Pokédex or in the updated Pokemon Platinum Pokédex, were seen. And one of those features was the Grand Underground, which is just a new name for the underground that was used in the original Diamond and Pearl. In the Grand Underground, we still have the features you had before, such as digging in the walls, in which you can use a pickaxe or a hammer to dig for fossils, orbs, or other items. You can create secret bases. But a new item you can find while digging are apparently these special Pokemon statues you can then use to put into your secret bases as accessories. But then depending on what statues you put into your secret base, it's not confirmed yet how these statue combinations will work, like how many statues or how big these statues will get. But apparently these statues will affect a new feature in the Grand Underground called the Pokemon Hideaways. And these are kind of like the hidden grottos from Gen 5, I think, in which you enter these special rooms. You can find Pokemon that are unique to these Grand Underground hideaways. You can find Pokemon like Houndour or even Sentret, for that matter. Sentret is a Pokemon I believe was exclusive to Diamond and Pearl's post-game, whereas Houndour was added into the Pokemon Platinum upgraded Pokedex. So that may be a sign of a possible national dex or just more Pokemon in general coming to Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl. We can only hope. But with the decorations and whatnot, that's kind of similar in style to what they did for the Johto Safari Zone in Heart Gold and Soul Silver. So that's a pretty interesting feature there. Another feature that is making its return is a form of customization that some people probably looked over back in the original Sinnoh games, but I found to be pretty interesting, are seals. These are essentially just a bunch of stickers you can then place into a special ball case that you then place your Pokeball into. And then when you put when you use these seals and you place it on the Pokeball and you throw your Pokeballs in the battle, it can create a special effect when your Pokemon comes out of the Pokeball, such as confetti or fireworks. And you can place up to 20 of these stickers. I don't think that was how you could do it previously, unless I'm mistaken. But the fact you can place that many onto your Pokeball, and you can even choose for 2D or 3D effects. So that's an awesome extra piece of little customization there, especially since you'll have over 90 stickers to choose from. And the main purpose of these seals is not just for regular battles, but also for the return of Pokemon contests. As when they originated from Hoenn, the Sinnoh region also had contests as well in the form of super contests. But unlike the Hoenn contests, which has had the appeal round in which your Pokemon just got showed off to the crowd, and then you had the performance round in which you demonstrate your Pokemon attacks to earn points. And depending on how many points you got in both rounds, then you win the contest if you had the max amount. The Sinnoh Super Contest, on the other hand, had 3 rounds. First is the appearance round, where you got to actually dress up your Pokemon and then show it off to the crowd, and then plus with the seals combined with that. And also in addition to increasing your Pokemon's contest stats, which if I recall were cuteness, coolness, beauty, toughness, and cleverness. In those 5 categories, in the 4 basic categories of normal, great, hyper, and master, I think were the categories. I could be wrong on that. I think that's the Hoenn one, sorry. But either way, you can participate in those contests, and then after that you enter the dancing round, in which you actually have to dance to music. And on Nintendo DS, that was a nightmare, because when I was younger, and even now, my sense for music was not exactly the greatest. I mean, not to say I have a bad ear, just the way they did the performance dancing round was just awkward. So for me, a lot of the points I got was mostly just from the showing off the Pokemon in the first round, and then the third round when you have to show off your Pokemon attacks to judges. And what's different from the Sinnoh contest is that there are 3 judges rather than 1, and how they did in Hoenn. So that makes it even more difficult to earn points that way as well. So the fact that's making a return is also nice. Then they also show that unlike Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire, many fans were outraged at the fact that you could not do any kind of trainer customization in those titles. But the only time your characters actually changed their clothes was actually for the contest. Spectacular. Which, not that interesting. But now, in Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl, there are now trainer customization options in Veilstone City. I'm guessing you can buy the clothes at the Veilstone department store. Every single region has a huge department store of some kind, like Celadon City in Kanto, Johto had Goldenrod City, Lilycove City in Hoenn, and then the Sinnoh region has it in Veilstone City, so I suppose you can buy them there. And speaking of Veilstone, that's also the home of the Game Corner, which, because of all the laws against gambling that started in Europe and now is essentially just trying to go internationally to not teach kids how to gamble, the Game Corner has been scrapped, so it'd be interesting to see what they do with that particular building, especially since the majority of Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, in terms of its overworld map, it looks to be, I wouldn't say a one-to-one recreation, but it's a close recreation to how the maps were in the original Diamond and Pearl, so it'll be interesting to see what they do with the Game Corner. If they keep the building, but they just prevent you from entering the building, but there's a sign saying it closed down, because that's what they did for Mega Ruby Alpha Sapphire for that Game Corner. So I guess we'll just see about that. Although speaking of one-to-one designs, here's a fun fact. If you look at how the streets are lined up in Twin Leaf Town, the starting town in Diamond and Pearl, Sinnoh, it actually forms the kanji character for Earth or something like that, which is something I found out from another YouTube video just the other night. So that's a pretty interesting fun fact. But another feature that's also returning is the Union Room. This is essentially how the original Diamond and Pearl allowed you to use the Nintendo DS's connectivity with other players in order to connect either locally or via Wi-Fi. So the fact that this feature is making its return, well, it's just the way how you know now you know how you can connect with other players to battle them locally or over Wi-Fi. Although apparently there's also going to be additional rooms, different Union rooms for both local and online play. So I don't know how they're going to differentiate the two. Maybe it'll be dependent on whether you're connecting locally, online, or maybe people on your friends list. Who knows how they're going to do it? Game Freak, or rather in this case, Ilka, the company that also made Pokemon Home. Completely different company developing them now, so maybe different mindsets and priorities. Guess we'll see. But another feature that I really don't really care too much about, but some people really liked ever since Heart Gold Soul Silver. So the fact they're bringing him back since that feature debuted in Gen 4, so the fact they're bringing him in to the Gen 4 remakes, it's still a nice touch. Following Pokemon around, it's just a nice aesthetic, just letting your Pokemon be viewable in the overworld. You can never get enough of that, I suppose. But another thing that is coming out, releasing on November 5th, is a special Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl Nintendo Switch Lite, which has the original design that was shown on the Nintendo DS when Pokemon Diamond and Pearl originally came out. So that's a very nice touch, and I really haven't... Well, I mean, I do want to get it, but it costs money, and I already have a Nintendo Switch Lite, so I guess I'll just have to maybe sell that one in order to earn funds if I want to get a new one. And then just transfer the data over. But another piece of information I found very interesting, and I really find this to be something worthwhile, is that if you get the game during its early release, meaning you buy and play Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl when it releases, or for a couple months after that, you can get a special mystery gift downloadable from the internet for a Manaphy egg. Now, originally in Gen 4, only way you could get Manaphy was that if you played a spin-off game, Pokemon Ranger, and then you can play through that game, and then you can transfer the special Manaphy egg from Pokemon Ranger into Diamond and Pearl. However, that egg was exclusive to one Manaphy egg per Pokemon Ranger cartridge. Not save file, cartridge, period. So you can imagine that getting those Manaphy eggs back then was very rare. So the fact that they're just giving them out now, it's a nice touch. And since you can get Mystery Gift early on in the game, this means you could probably get a nice way to replace your water starter, in this case Piplups, so then you can choose between Turtwig or Chimchar. Kind of reminds me of the scenario in Pokemon X and Y in which they gave out a Mystery Gift for Torchic. So since I started my save file with Froakie in that game, and then I got the Mystery Gift Torchic, then I got to Lumio City, I then chose Bulbasaur to finish off the typical grass, fire, water trio. So my team is pretty OP there. So perhaps a very similar situation here. And it's just nice that they're offering that particular little service, because in other games such as Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire, you could get the mystery gift for a shiny Beldum in that game, and then for Sun and Moon, you can get a special Munchlax, which you hold back in Happy Hour there. So the fact that they're doing this here, just like how in Sword and Shield first released, you can get a special G-Max Meowth that way. It's just very nice of them that they're bringing back these features, and I'm really looking forward to that. And surprisingly, Legends Arceus provided a lot more information than I had expected, because, oh boy. I mean, the fact that I already knew, not I, but we were aware that this was like an action plus RPG element like game was pretty obvious, but we got some more information, like the fact that apparently the Sinnoh region, that's the more modern way how we describe Diamond and Pearl setting. Because while Legends Arceus does take place in this same area, the Sinnoh region, it takes place in the old Sinnoh region, which is apparently known as the Hisui region back in the olden times. And the goal of completing a Pokedex, however, back in those days, and the fact you're catching Pokemon with, well, Pokeballs in ancient times, weird, because I'm pretty sure Pokeballs were more modern technology related thing, not an ancient times thing, especially since Professor Oak in the Pokemon lore is supposed to be the one who created the Pokeballs and Pokedex in the first place, so a bit of a strange continuity error there, but ever since Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, we've known about the whole multiverse theory being pretty much canon now, so we can make that excuse for Legends Arceus in this case. In which case, this main setting is going to be Jubilife Village, which is the olden version of Jubilife City. And we have a Galaxy Expedition team, which has an expedition team in which you're going to set up your base camp in Jubilife Village, which kind of acts like the hub for where your Pokemon Center is. You're going to heal your Pokemon or buy items in the olden Pokemart. And you're also going to get your little quests here in the Jubilife Village for surveys, which is essentially the little quests that you're going to go around to walk around into the wild of the Hisui region to research Pokemon, and then once you get the information you need, maybe catching Pokemon, defeating them, then you return to Jubilife Village, you report in your findings, and that's how you upgrade your Pokedex, which apparently is getting upgraded, well not upgraded, but gets upgraded with information on Pokemon you encounter, their types, what moves they know, and there's a bunch of other features which are probably going to really keep the replayability of these games going if they're going to really go in depth that much. But apparently these games, I mean, it's pretty, I wouldn't say obvious, but it seems like these are very well based off Breath of the Wild, even more so than the wild area in Sword and Shield. So the fact they're making an even more in-depth Breath of the Wild Pokemon game is very nice. Which also means, however, you're walking around the wild, your trainer avatar, you are vulnerable to getting attacked by the wild Pokemon, and if you take too much damage, you will essentially get a game over and blackouts and be sent back to Jubilife Village, so you have to be careful there and be stealthy about it when it comes to Pokemon, because just like creatures in the wild, if they see you, a human, just walking or running up to them, they're either going to attack you or run away, so you have to be stealthy about it, like hide in the tall grass, kind of like in a Safari Zone kind of game as kind of setting. Then chuck your Pokeballs at the Pokemon to catch them, or you can throw your Pokeball that you already have your own Pokemon out near the wild Pokemon you find, and you can initiate battles with them that way. And apparently battles in Legends Arceus have two different styles, a strong or agile style of battle, in which the strong version is your Pokemon doesn't get to attack as often, but they hit with stronger attacks, and then the agile style is the vice versa. Your Pokemon doesn't land as many strong attacks, but they can hit your opponent more often, and this is all based on your Pokemon speed stat as well, so that's also an additional nice feature. But that all pales in comparison to the Hisui region introducing something even greater, because many fans were hoping about this to be in Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl, which if they didn't show it there and in the Pokemon Presents, don't think we'll get it. But for Legends Arceus, on the other hand, we're now getting regional variants for the Hisui region, because the main focus of the Hisui region is the fact that this is essentially the Sinnoh region in the olden times known as Hisui. I already said that, but the main focus here is that Pokemon from other regions, from more modern games such as Unova, Kalos, Galar, and Alola, can be found in those areas, which is why your Pokemon starters in Legends Arceus come from other regions. Like, actually, I forgot them. Let's see. Oh yeah, we got Cyndaquil from Johto, Oshawott from Unova, and Rowlet from Alola. So that's generations 2, 5, and 7, which is pretty interesting. And it still covers the typical grass, fire, water trio. But since the game focuses on Pokemon from other regions, this is where having other evolutions and variations of Pokemon comes into play, such as Stantler is in the Hisui region, but has an evolution to a new Pokemon known as Weirdeer. Then Basculin gets an evolution known as, how do you say it? Basculege? I think that's how you pronounce it. But then there are also Hisui regional variations known such as Breviary or Growlithe. So the fact that we're getting both regional evolutions and regional variants is a very nice touch and something that may be an incentive for me to play Legends Arceus. I originally had no intention of playing these, especially when there's no multiplayer with these games, so that's one thing that kind of turned me off from it. And then the whole Breath of the Wild feature being real-time, realistic thing, it's also probably going to be very difficult for me to play this game, so that's one reason why I was kind of turned off from them. However, considering that it's been announced that these games will be compatible with Pokemon Home, compatible with Pokemon Home, both Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl, that was going to be a given since Ilka developed Pokemon Home and they're also now developing those games. That was a given. But Legends Arceus, on the other hand, that game also being compatible with Pokemon Home, this possibly means that somehow maybe you can transfer your Pokemon from Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl into Legends Arceus, or from Legends Arceus to Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl. Not confirmed, but possible. What also makes you wonder just if Pokemon from Sword and Shield can also be sent to Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl. Also not confirmed yet, and one of many questions that we still have unanswered, just like the National Dex. But when Pokemon Home does get updated, it will become to both mobile and Switch versions, so that's still something to look forward to. But as of right now, since the Pokemon Resent has been over, both Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl, and Legends Arceus can be now pre-ordered on the Nintendo eShop. So look forward to that. I'm definitely ordering my Brilliant Diamond copy first. That's the one I want to get first. And I'll be getting that on my main Switch. And then I'll get Shining Pearl, the opposite version. I'll get that one on my backup Nintendo Switch Lite, whose data I'll eventually transfer over to the BDSP Nintendo Switch Lite once that comes out and I get that. Hopefully I don't miss out on that like I did for the Sword and Shield Switch Lite. But honestly, I like Diamond and Pearl Switch Lite better, so I'll be looking after that one. And that essentially covers all the information from the Pokemon Presents, but I'm not done yet because I still want to talk about the original Diamond and Pearl, because while we have information for the new games, there are still some features from the original games that you probably want to know about now, so you can look forward to them once they come out later on. Like, for example, the original Diamond and Pearl Pokedex was a terrible Pokedex, like 151 Pokemon, same number as Kanto, but the Pokemon selection was abysmal. Like, for example, if you chose either, oh god, their name slipped my mind for a second there. If you want to choose a grass starter in the form of Turtwig, or Piplup, the water starter, that's fine. But then you wanted the fire Pokemon, so you didn't choose Chimchar. You are effectively screwed because the only other fire Pokemon you really have access to is Ponyta. And of course, Rapidash. That was bad. I mean, technically speaking, you could get Pokemon like Magmar later on, and then evolve into Magmortar, which is required because that's one of the new Sinnoh Pokemon, but for some reason that's like a post-game thing and not part of the original Pokedex. So the fact that the Platinum Dex fixed those kinds of errors is very nice, and by this point I think we can definitely confirm that if it's not the Platinum Dex that's coming, but a revamped Pokedex for Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl, that's definitely a great reassurance to us. But here's a little feature from Diamond Pearl you probably didn't know about. The encounter rates for certain Pokemon in different areas at different times of day could also be influenced anywhere from 5 to 10%, depending on what day it was. Like on special holidays like Independence Day, Christmas, Halloween, things like that. Or on tragic days, like there was like a disaster in Japan at one point, or 9/11. Some Pokemon got affected by that as well. So the fact they added these little details into Diamond and Pearl, the original games, was a nice touch. So maybe they'll bring back. Another feature that was also implemented was back on the DS, in which Diamond and Pearl was on. If you inserted your Game Boy Advance cartridges for Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald, Fire, or Leaf Green, you could also make other special Pokemon appear in Diamond and Pearl. Like, for example, if you went to the old chateau with a fire red leaf green game, I think, inserted into it, you could then make a Gengar spawn there, which is a nice touch. So if they're going to bring back that kind of feature to Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl, maybe they'll make it influenced by what different Pokemon save data you have on your Nintendo Switch profile, like Sword and Shield, Pokemon Unite, Pokemon Conquest, not Conquest, Pokemon Quest, Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee, Pokemon Home, just a bunch of different other Pokemon save files, maybe even Mystery Dungeon DX for that matter. So if they bring back those kinds of features, that's also another nice thing that could come back. It's also be noted that the Shiny Hunting Masuda method was also introduced first in Pokemon Diamond and Pearl, because this was the first game that you could gain access to the GTS, the Global Trade Station, to trade Pokemon internationally. And because of this, you can get Pokemon from other languages, which is how the Masuda breeding method was born. So I guess the point I'm trying to say here at this point is the GTS, hopefully that feature comes back in-game in Brilliant Diamond Shining and Pearl, rather than just being locked behind a mobile version of Pokemon Home. So there's another neat feature hopefully will be re-implemented. One feature that I am hoping is not re-implemented, however, is hidden machines, because Lord only knows that Sinnoh has way too many TMs. Let's see, we have Cut, we have Surf, we have Strength, we have Fly, we have Waterfall, we have Defog, we had Rock Smash, we had Rock Climb. That's 8 already right there. Flash got downgraded to a TM in the original Diamond and Pearl, so that was a bit of a relief. No, wait, Rock Smash? That was an HM in Heart Gold Soul Silver, but I think that was still a field move TM in the original Diamond and Pearl, but still, that's at least 7 different HM moves, meaning that you had to pretty much waste 7 move slots on your team, meaning that 2 or 3 Pokemon would be filled with nothing but HM moves, which is why the Pokemon Bidoof was typically used to fill that slots, because he could learn a wide variety of HM moves like Strength, Waterfall, Rock Climb, maybe Cut? I'm not sure about Cut, but the fact that he can learn quite a lot of them, he unfortunately became the meme Pokemon for Sinnoh, known as an HM slave. So it's just a mess. Hopefully, if they bring back HMs, which they most likely will, hopefully they maybe bring it back in the way that Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee did with partner Pokemon featured. I mean, since following Pokemon are coming back, maybe that will take care of it. Who knows? But that's just one thing that I hope will not get come back. One other feature that hopefully gets revamped and altered is the Honey Tree method. Anyone who's played the original Sinnoh games knows about this infamous mechanic. Honey trees, using the item honey, you find these special, golden-like trees. Like a lot of the trees you see scattered around the center region are just your typical big green leaf trees, but then you find these special different colored trees. Then you use the honey item on them to slather honey on the bark of the tree. Then you have to wait 6 hours, in-game real life hours. And then once that time comes out, you just come back to the tree, and there's a 90% chance that a wild Pokemon will be drawn to the honey and will appear. You heard me right, 90%. There's a 10% chance you could wait 6 hours and nothing shows up. That is a terrible mechanic. And unfortunately, similar to how the Grand Underground apparently will have a lot of Pokemon locked behind that method, the Honey Trees also had Pokemon that were unique only to the Honey Tree method. And the most infamous of this was Honey Tree Munchlax. Those 3 words, any Pokemon veteran, that is just the most infamous and accursed thing in the Pokemon franchise. Even worse than Feebas from the original Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald games. And while Feebas is part of the Sinnoh Dex, and while it can be annoying, it's not the worst method out there to find a Pokemon. It's tedious and annoying, but not the worst. Honey Tree Munchlax is the worst because, 1, there are about 21 honey trees, I think, in the original Diamond and Pearl, and of those trees, only 4 of them can have Honey Tree Munchlax, and unfortunately, you don't know which ones they are. The way you can figure it out though is by using a special online calculator, and then you input your trainer ID of your Diamond and Pearl game into that calculator, and it can tell you which honey trees can have your Honey Tree Munchlax. But the problem is, even if you find out which tree has Munchlax, it only has a 1% chance of appearing. And once it does appear, it knows metronome. So just imagine you waste all that time finding a Honey Tree Munchlax, uses metronome, and uses either self-destruct or explosion. So yeah, one of the worst Pokemon experiences out there. And I can admit, back in those days, I did not get a Honey Tree Munchlax. I did get Munchlax, but I did it by breeding a Snorlax while holding a Lax Incense item to breed for a Munchlax, because I could not do the Honey Tree method. I did do it eventually, and I did find a Munchlax after doing that whole calculator with the trainer ID thing. But that was like a long time later. Like, I think I did it in Pokemon Platinum, actually, not Diamond and Pearl. So that was quite a while later. So that's one of the worst features in the game. Let's see, we talked about the Underground, Game Corner, Contest. Oh yes, another feature that is probably going to come back is the Great Marsh. This is essentially just a safari zone for the Sinnoh region, but unfortunately this feature is a little flawed. For one, the Pokemon here, the Great Marsh, change on a daily basis. That itself is kind of bad. What's even worse is the fact you can actually see what Pokemon can be found each day in the Great Marsh. You do this by going to the second floor and interacting with a pair of binoculars, which will then give you a bunch of quick flashes of different sections of the Great Marsh that you're looking through the binoculars, and you can see the sprites of Pokemon that can appear in those different areas. The problem is, these visions, I guess you can call them, of the area where the Pokemon appear and their sprites will only stay on screen for like, I don't think even a second. It's like, it felt even shorter than a second. They just fly by so fast. So it's just kind of hard to tell which Pokemon were where, especially since so many areas of the Great Marsh look very similar to one another. So you can probably have to go in blindly to catch them, which made the Great Marsh a bit tedious. Hopefully they also fix that for Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl, just like hopefully they'll fix the Honey Tree mechanic. Similar to how they fixed the whole Feebas thing in Omega Ray Alpha Sapphire, in which if you fished under the bridge on Route 119, you were pretty much almost guaranteed to find Feebas that way, so hopefully they do something similar for Munchlax here. Another feature that many fans are hoping about, but I personally am neutral about, is Mega Evolution. Since they're saying that these games will be faithful remakes, one-to-one remakes, definitely probably not anymore at this point. But if they do make Mega Evolutions come back, or maybe they bring over Dynamax from the Galar region, my money is that's going to be like a post-game feature. So it's not going to be in the main story. Although, when it comes to the champion battle, I'll probably just try not to spoil things there, but the champion battle, they could probably give that battle a Mega Evolution, because the champion has like 2 Pokemon that can Mega Evolve, so that's probably be a nice way to show off that feature eventually. But then there also comes the post-game, and oh boy, when it comes to recent Pokemon games, well, upon their release, the post-games have been abysmal. X and Y, not to say there's nothing to do once you become champion, but once you've beaten all those things, which can probably maybe take you a couple hours or less after that, only thing you can really do is just prepare for competitive battle. So X and Y, Sun and Moon, Sword and Shield, boring. Nothing to do but prepare for competitive battles, which some players don't really care about the competitive side of Pokemon. They just want to play the game and just enjoy the side features. And oh boy, have you mentioned all these different features that Pokemon Diamond and Pearl had, in which a lot of them are returning for Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl. So you better believe there are things to do. Like, for example, you can find an entire post-game island in the post-game of Brilliant Diamond. I mean, not Brilliant Diamond, but in the original Diamond and Pearl, you can go to the special battle island, which unlocks a side quest for finding the legendary Pokemon Heatran. So, since since Heatran is part of the Sinnoh decks, that feature will definitely be making a return. If they don't make that feature return, that's going to be, well, that'd be sacrilege, especially when one of those areas is known as the resort area. And there you can actually buy a villa, which you can then customize, kind of like a secret base. Just a lot more pricey and expensive. But considering how Pokemon games lately have been good about making money, you can hear my previous podcast episode to see how you can grind out money easily. So there's that. But then another feature for the post-game island is also, this is where the battle frontier was for Pokemon Platinum. And while many of us are really not expecting the full battle frontier to make a return in Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl, at the very least the battle tower should be making a return, because they usually implement a way to earn battle points in modern Pokemon games. So while Omega Ray of a Sapphire got a copy and case of the Battle Mason from X and Y Kalos, which was disappointing. Hopefully we just don't get a copy and paste of the Galar Battle Tower. Although if we do, I won't be that surprised. But if we do get the full Battle Tower, that's going to be a pretty nice addition. The Battle Factory, Battle Castle, Battle Arcade, and Battle Hall all coming back with Gen 8 upgrades and upgrades to modern day conveniences like hyper training, nature mints, and all that, those other combat related items. That's definitely going to be a nice addition. But what I'm really curious about is how they're going to implement the Sinnoh region's version of the not application, but like every region has like a little handheld device that helps you along your journey. Starting in Johto, we have the Pokegear. Hoenn had the Pokenav, and then Sinnoh region had the Poketch, show for Pokemon Watch. And originally for Diamond and Pearl, this was on the Nintendo DS's bottom screen. Then you can just switch between the different applications by using the DS touchscreen to go between different applications, such as a clock or a map of Sinnoh, one that showed you what Pokemon were you left at the Laceon City daycare. There was even a step counter and a bunch of other different features you could do for fun in your spare time or something. So how they can implement the Poketch when now we're on Nintendo Switch, we're going back to a single screen experience, so that's definitely going to be something to look forward to. That'll be interesting. But another feature, well, I wouldn't say a feature, but a part of Pokemon games are the legendary Pokemon. And this is something we're really looking forward to. As I said earlier, we're getting the Manaphy egg, which was originally from Pokemon Ranger, transfer over to Diamond and Pearl, but now we're getting a special on-release game mystery gift thing for like about 2 or 3 months-ish. But there's still other Pokemon in Diamond and Pearl, such as Cresselia. That's going to be a roaming Pokemon. They're probably going to keep that in the game. Heatran is in the post-game. Giratina, hopefully we get like a post-game Delta episode, like how they did with Rayquaza in Omega Ray of a Sapphire, in which hopefully we get access to Distortion World. Maybe that's how we'll be able to venture to other worlds, how we get access to regional variations for evolving, or maybe how they'll implement other legendary Pokemon or something from other regions, like how Dynamax Adventures is doing it in Sword and Shield right now. That's one thing to think about. Don't know if we'll get roaming Pokemon again, like Articuno, Zapdos, Moltres for roaming around the Sinnoh region Pokemon Platinum. Maybe that will make a return. Then there's also Regigigas in the Snowpoint Temple. Maybe they'll gain access to Regirock, Regice, Registeel temples in some kind of Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl, who knows? And they do that, maybe they'll bring Regieleki, Regidrago into these games. Possible, but unlikely. But the main legendaries that we really are hoping will be implemented in some way are the 3 mythicals for the Sinnoh region. First off, you need the Oak's Letter key item to gain access to Shaman at the Flower Paradise. The Members card allows you to enter a locked inn in Canalave City, which then takes you to New Moon Island, where you can battle and encounter Darkrai. And finally, the Azure Flute, which when you take it to Spear Pillar, you then gain access to the Hall of Origin where you can battle and capture Arceus. So it'll be interesting to see how they incorporate these into the game. Hopefully they're not just downloadable items you get from Mystery Gift. Probably be how they do it. Or maybe you get them as part of a post-game story. But it'd be nice if they implement these because we really want them back. Especially if we can shiny hunt them or even catch them with marks. Like how marks are in Sword and Shield. Hopefully maybe they bring back marks for Diamond and Pearl remakes. And then another feature that who knows is the PAL Park. This is how you would transfer Pokemon from the Game Boy Advance games, Ruby Sapphire Emerald, Fire Red Leaf Green, and also spin-off games called Sam and XE Gale Darkness on the GameCube. This is how you transfer them up into Generation 4. But since that's no longer really necessary, who knows what they're going to do with that area, because there are 2 routes that are exclusive to get to this area that you can only access once you have Surf, and the only way you can enter here is if you complete the Sinnoh Dex. The Sinnoh Regional Dex, that is. And what makes the Sinnoh Dex unique to other regions' Pokédexes is the fact that in order to complete the Dex, you just need to see the Pokemon. Not catch them, just see them. Which does make sense because Manaphy and both version exclusive box art legendaries were part of the Sinnoh Dex. And since you couldn't see them in your one version of the game, but you could still see pictures of them, and that counted as seeing them. So once you saw the pictures of the opposite legendary and you found everything you needed, you then can go to the PAL Park and you can enter it, which is where Professor Oak, you can actually see him in the Sinnoh region. He will upgrade your Pokedex to the National Dex. So who knows what to do with the PAL Park? Maybe this is how you'll be able to transfer Pokemon from Legends Arceus. Like if you take Pokemon from Pokemon Legends Arceus, you put in Pokemon Home, then you take them Pokemon Home, then you transfer them to Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl, and then you catch them in the PAL Park. Maybe that's one way they can do things. But who knows? But another item that may be making a comeback is the Poke Radar Key item. This was originally introduced in the original Diamond and Pearl. And this is how you catch some Pokemon in the post-game, because you can go to old routes in the Sinnoh region and you still find the normal encounter tables, but then use the Poke Radar item, you can find special Pokemon that can only appear when using the Poke Radar, but the main feature people use this item for is for shiny hunting. So since they're probably bringing back the tile-based system of the games, I mean that's what it looks like, tile-based in a way, because they're keeping like the chibi style for these games, so that's one feature that can make a return. But other Platinum features that could be making a return is the NPC Looker. He's appeared in many Pokemon games and ever since his debut in Gen 4, such as he helps you in the post-game Pokemon Black and White to find the sages from Team Plasma. He appears in X and Y's post-game. He also appears at the Battle Resorts in Omega Ruby Sapphire, although he has amnesia. And then he shows up in Sun and Moon to help you catch the Ultra Beasts. And while I don't think we've seen him in Sword and Shield, but since we're getting Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, his debut generation games, it's possible he can make a return here to help you go after Team Galactic. But, well, that's all I can really, speaking of Looker, that's all I can really look for. That's pretty much all the information I can think of for the time being when it comes to Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl features that come from the original Diamond and Pearl that may be brought forward. So if you enjoyed what I made so far, please leave a like, comment, subscribe to the channel, or even share this recorded podcast video with everyone else you know. And well, just thank you everyone so much for listening to this podcast. If you have anything else you'd like to add, if I think you missed something, well, just leave the comment and I'll get back to you however I can. So, take care everyone.